Alright, so what I've got is got my bandsaw just about set up. What I'm going to do is rough out the cut on the top for that neck and then go through and re-dimension back and hopefully be closer to being done. So, Hi, thanks for joining me. So where we left off last time is I finished up this neck. I have my fretboard angled to it. So it's all basically roughed out. So what I need to do today is figure out my body dimensions, my groove in the body to fit the neck, and the dimensions that this is going to have to get cut to in order to do that. So one thing I ended up doing off camera yesterday was finishing up the cut on the bottom since it's no longer going to be part of the body. And from there, we'll just continue going. At this stage, I know I want the end of this to be somewhere just a little longer than 38 inches from the nut. About 38 and an 8 funsies. Okay. That'll be there. This guy will end up being right. So I'm just marking where the body is approximately going to be, so that way I know, well, that way I know. So from yesterday, I'm going to go back through and redimension the neck to the general taper that I want it to be at, accounting for the start of where the body is going to be in the end, and then determine the amount from the top of the body that I'm going to be coming down, and the amount from the bottom to make this neck fit the body. I'm going to want about 1/16 of an inch lower than where my fretboard is. I'm just going to go ahead and mark that. No, I want my body thickness to be about 1 5/8 of an inch plus 1/16, so I'm going to keep measuring off this side. Marking off my fretboard ends. The only reason why I'm doing both sides, so if I need to flip this over and cut, I don't have to redimension anything. Measurement tool's already set up, it's just easier to do both right now. So, color. I know that's there. And my body's going to end right here at a maximum. So in general, probably in order to set this, I know the swamp, that ash is probably going to be a little should be hard enough. I think I'm probably gonna leave about a 1/2 inch on the mat for the swamp. So I'm gonna take this back 1/2 inch from my 1 11/16. Color didn't look at all though. Okay, and what I was saying before is we're going to start right around the first fret, being 700 thousandths. This is where I'm getting myself into some trouble. So when it comes down the neck, I'm really going to have to pick a side. But I'll deal with the consequences of my choices later. Obviously, it's going stellar so far. 800 for thickness, down as it approached the body. angle. I'm just gonna wrap this sucker around. Before I know it, bottomed out my depth plane at 18 thousandths. So I think once I get this finished off a little bit, I'm going to cut that back about another 18 and use this leftover piece for the headstock. And like before, I'm going to do about a 1/2 inch thick headstock. And like what I was talking about before, I'm going to leave a little bit of extra material down along here. I'm going to carve something out for fun. Once it's all said and done, that's really kind of what we're looking at. Alright, so we got the back roughed out. Works the whole way down. Looks like unevenness back here. Looks like my blade's a little bit crooked. But for the most part, I didn't cross my lines on either side. So I think dimensionally it's going to be okay. And same on our other side. So looks like I'm off by about a 1/16 on the body, which is fine. Alright, so what I've got is I have my template trace onto here, and what I'm going to do is going to start by cutting off the material off the sides and make it a little bit more wieldy, and then roughing out the shape on the bandsaw. I don't think you guys need to see that, so I'm not going to record. Alright, so I realize some of you guys probably do actually want to see what I'm doing, because depth planing this block is actually going to take a lot of work when I'm talking about taking about 3/4 of an inch off. So what I did some time ago is build this router plane table for doing exactly stuff like this. This table is up on 5/8 inch all thread, and is basically just kind of suspended on 1.5 inch aluminum 90-degree angle. So the reason why you might want to see how I'm setting this up is to actually level it. I'm using my set of feeler gauges so I can assure that this is actually set up and square before I start chunking out material from this. What's going to happen is as I go to align my various jam nuts, I'm going to put my feeler gauges down below there. Right now it's a little bit snug. I'm just going to turn that screw up, or turn the nut just a bit to relieve the overall tension that I have down in here. So what I'm going to do is when I tighten all this, I'm going to go through and double check all of my corners. Alright, so basically all we got to do now is finish roughing out this blank, putting the template on here, and then hitting it with the router and trim it down. And from there, what I'm going to do is start finishing this neck. So, pre-springing. What I'm going to start before I cut this last bit of the head off is I'm going to mark my hole position by just drilling through it right now at about the same angle, so I don't have to replace these once it's down. I've got my template taped down to this guy, and I've got my neck set up on this plane. So one of the things I did while setting up this guy is I brought up the lowest all threads here to account for the taper of the neck. So when I go to cut, I should be cutting pretty flat across the neck, and it'll save me a little bit of time in flattening this section. A little bit of a problem. Got a little too aggressive hitting this bit and tore off this chunk from the body. It's going to be a bit of a pain. Now it looks like will be able to salvage this issue. Seeing I got one clean chunk coming off. So I think what I'm going to do is finish trimming this body except for this location, and then see if I can repair this and clean the rest up with a lot of sanding.